Oh my god, I was so mad about that. They were like,
We can't
for
talk
all you
about this
Mario,
either. We're gonna get struck by Nintendo now.
for all you Mario Kart fans, here's more courses for 8. Like, fuck you, man. Come on.
Oh, there goes our Nintendo sponsorship. Oh God, guys, come on.
But we're gonna.
sorry.
we're getting.
I already shelled out the cash for 8, so it's like worth it for me.
Same. I will say we're getting Wii Switch Resorts.
We
Sports
switch
Resort.
resort.
I don't fucking know, man.
There's
I
no
like
sports. There's no sports. It's just we switch resort.
Wii Switch Resort.
Like, what is it actually called? I don't know.
We Sports too, I thought.
No,
It's called like Nintendo Switch Sports or something. I don't
Yes,
know.
that's what
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
Well, I did do that just now, but yeah, no. I will throw Nintendo bucks at Nintendo so fast for that one. So
I was telling Katie all about it last night, so we've decided we're gonna shell out for the Nintendo Switch Sports.
that's
There
smart.
you go.
That's smart. You know what? We no Breath of the Wild 2 news though. So you
Yeah,
know.
I think Jenna is officially christened a Nintendo fan because she was disappointed by a Nintendo Direct because she was very, very much expecting.
A time-honored tradition.
I
And I'm
just
like- and
wanted
like-
any mention.
I think in the past, she had listened to it and then been like, okay, well that's fine. But this time she was like, I will be actively disappointed if there's no Breath of the Wild 2 news. I'm like, welcome to the club. You've made it.
Because it's
Jenna,
2022
if it-
now. There should be news. Give me the news.
Nah.
You think that.
Dude, Legend of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, it was announced in like 2014. It came out in 2017. So like, you're gonna need to wait.
This
I
was
will-
announced in 2019.
Yeah,
It's
and then
2022.
COVID pushed everything back like 2 years. So
If it helps, Jenna, I heard people being upset about Breath of the Wild 2 not being more fleshed out news-wise in college like a year ago at the last Nintendo Direct. So it's
Yeah,
just
I was
I do-
expecting nothing last time, though.
I do think we will get
Fair.
like a release date at E3 for sure.
oh, definitely. I think it's gonna be like December, like early 2023.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Before we get started, I have some announcements. Because
Ooh.
I was trying to rework some things to make things go better, specifically travel and cooking. So if you look in the reference folder, I have a traveling and then food and cooking guide. So traveling, I have roles now that you can
Ooh.
all take. And you can double up and leave one out or whatever, depending on what you think is gonna, transpire on your journey or whatever you need more, I guess. But that'll hopefully make things go better, and I'll probably tweak it as we try it out. But basically, it's just like somebody that's like being a lookout, looking for dangers, hazards. Somebody that's trying to like get you guys from point A to point B and find somewhere decent to stop to rest. Somebody looking for resources so that you guys can find food and other just resources along the way. And then the auxiliary one is looking for just unique things that stick out, kind of like in Breath of the Wild when you're trying to go from one place to another and then spend the whole day doing not that. So that's for that. And then for cooking, I put in the stuff for food and water that's described. I don't know which book it's in, Player's Handbook or Dungeon Masters, but probably Players. Just like the rules, so like you guys don't have to eat every day. You have a couple days before you absolutely need to eat. And then with water, we're not going to track water until we get to unless we're in like the Gerudo Desert, because then it's really important. So don't worry about that. But then for cooking, there are 2 types of cooking that we're going to have going forward. There's just survival cooking, which is just like we're throwing these ingredients together to cook and eat them to meet our hunger needs. There's no check required for that. It's going to work as long as you have a fire. You don't even need a cooking pot. You can literally skewer something on a stick and cook it. So like there's no checks involved there to cook. But then if you want to actually try recipe cooking is the other one. You can do that. You're shooting to try to make something. And if it doesn't work out, like if you don't end up making a dish, your hunger needs are still met, and you will still get like a heart bonus, but you won't get a heart bonus or any kind of other buffs that come along with cooking if you do survival cooking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just checks involved. And the other thing is, too, when it comes to recipe cooking, you don't have to do strictly survival or, like, whatever. You can tell me, like, how you're trying to cook to try and cater towards things that you're stronger with. Like, if you want to try and remember a recipe that your parent used to make, you can use, like, a history check or something like that to cook instead. So hopefully that will be better, and we don't
Also-
spend as much time on cooking.
Thank you for both of these, Jenna. Very, very useful. Should we have a recipe book tab somewhere, or just like in one of our character sheets or something? That's something that I always think Breath of the Wild should need, that I think would be helpful for us, is just keeping track of the recipes that we know.
I mean, yeah, if you guys want to keep track, if you successfully create something, I'll tell you, like, the bare minimum thing you need to reproduce that recipe going forward.
Okay,
That's
awesome. Yeah,
beneficial.
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, okay. Does anybody have any questions besides that?
No, this is sick. I love it. I love the traveling mechanic. It's like really neat.
It sounds really good.
Yeah, so we'll try it out, and if things need to change, then they'll change to, it's trying to be efficient and fun at the same time without wasting too much time on silly things. But if everybody's ready to go, we can hop in with the recap.
Go for it.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So, last we saw our heroes of Hyrule, they had settled in for a night at an abandoned bokoblin camp. After a relatively uneventful night and some discussion regarding a meat merchant in the morning, our heroes traveled to Akila's home of Dueling Peak Stable, but not before discovering Big Twin Bridge had been blown up recently. They arrived at the stable only to discover that an attack had taken place in the night, and the horse summoning runes were no longer functioning. While visiting, our heroes successfully caught and tamed wild horses, without delving too deep into the Guardian Graveyard. With their new horses, the heroes of Hyrule made it to Kakariko village with time to spare. With a strange greeting, followed by suspicious guest management, they made their way around the town. Inari, Lydian, and Akila have just